down my notes.
Can anybody tell me just what I did wrong?
We're not gonna sing that song through the whole episode.
Once I was the arm of the ape, but the face of the Kong.
Is that what he says?
I have no idea.
That's not at all
Where
what
did
he
you sing
says.
that? Where did it come from?
I don't. That's what I think he says.
It's once I was the ape of the hour.
The
something.
the hour.
Power.
Oh, hour.
And absolute zero.
I only know that because I have subtitles turned on when I watch YouTube sometimes. Oh, the music's so good in that show.
Stuffing your trailer fan off.
Then we watched that show.
We watched Donkey Kong, the
Donkey
film.
Kong Country.
Donkey Kong Country, The Legend of the Crystal Coconut.
The first ever feature-length Donkey Kong adventure.
The feature-length adventure.
It was a film. It was a cohesive film.
Cohesive film with a plot.
It was
Yes.
4 episodes in non-chronological order that they start together with, like, diners, drivers, and dives type narration.
Yeah, like the episode would end with like King K. Rool thinking King K. Rool thinking Kinky Rool thinking he was a monkey, and then Donkey Kong's narration would come on immediately, be like, it took a few days, but he stopped thinking he was a monkey. Anyway, the next day.
It is so much like diners, drivers, and dives. Like, oh yeah, then we headed over to Houston, went into this barbecue place. That's gonna blow your taste buds.
The episodes are very Shakespearean.
Yeah.
It's a Shakespeare comedy.
Yeah.
The writing and the acting.
It's all
It's a comedy of errors, misunderstandings left and right, characters constantly fooling each other and gaslighting each other. That's like the peak, what this show thinks is peak humor.
So the last episode where it was less like that and there wasn't as much music.
Lying to each other for no reason.
The last episode on the tape was the earliest episode by far. Like I think it was
really?
episode 18 and 20 and 25.
They had a flashback.
And then episode 6.
They had a flashback in this show. And the event that they were flashing back to was an event that happened later in the film. Chronologically.
Yeah.
Well, not chronological, because it's not chronological.
Well, but the film presents itself as being
as a chronological series of events.
Yeah.
According to this film's logic.
Stop giving me messages! How am I getting messages? I have my phone on. I literally have...
Why is it I only cough, like, when people are trying to talk to me? I go all day not coughing, just playing Dark Souls or whatever.
Because talking makes
you're talking out loud.
I talk when I play Dark Souls.
Talking irritates your voice.
Every time I'm playing a game that takes focus, my mom's like, who are you talking to? I'm like, what do you mean?
You're probably just muttering under your breath.
I'm not even it's not even under my breath though. I talk to myself like how my aunts do. My aunts will talk to themselves as if it's like the same tone they talk to anyone else.
Okay, can we start?
And it weirds people out the first time. Like my aunt was making breakfast and I was like, who's she talking to? And I realized, oh, she just does that. That's right. It's a weird genetic thing.
It's not genetic. Shut up.
Then why do I do it and only my aunts
That's
do
why
it?
I just assume it's not genetic.
Because it's a behavior?
Yeah, behaviors are based on your brain.
Haven't you read Animorphs? Animorphs is all about instinct controlling people.
And making them talk to themselves, apparently.
Yeah,
well, it's a behavior.
Which, this is an Animorphs book club podcast.
Axe
We read
literally...
Animorphs books. We talk about the Animorphs books. Be Natural has read all the Animorphs books. She's our war prince. The three of us have not. We're the heiress.
Hi, I'm Mustard.
Dude, really?
Well, you said the three of us. I didn't make myself known.
I'm better.
Wait, Be Natural has to start.
But he already introduced me.
Oh, hey, Stir.
He introduced me for me.
I'm Stir.
This is the worst intro I've ever done.
This
is
is
the whole
weird.
show.
Thanks, Mustard.
Back to Donkey Kong.
Jeez.
No!
That's more interesting than this book.
We're talking about this. I want this episode to go by fast because this book sucks.
This is your first dislike.
This was my first dislike.
This is your first dislike?
Yes.
Wow.
No, I considered liking this.
Well, you're stupid.
I considered disliking it. I was very close to disliking it. I was like, this book...
I wasn't that close to disliking it. I was probably closer to a like for me.
This is
Really?
definitely on the upper half of
Nothing about it was offensive.
That's why it's a dislike, because it was so boring.
No, it had cool stuff.
Not really.
No, not really.
There's nothing.
I read it
There's
yesterday.
There wasn't
Really
nothing that
cool.
I like specifically disliked and like made me want to dislike this book like the Horse-Bajir Chronicles did.
I like the
It
aliens.
didn't have anything great either.
I
It
like
had
some of the
nothing
things in the
interesting. It had nothing
descriptions.
interesting at all. That's why I disliked
It had
it.
Sweaty Vessel 3.
Mr. Three scratched his butt.
Yeah, that was a cool. Okay, let's do the summary.
Wasn't that cool?
So your summary is like what, a minute long?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
I can't imagine the summary being very long.
Chapter 1.
Well, he's just gonna do all his haiku.
Chapter 1. Marco has a date at the Symphony Hall with a girl, Marion. Chapter 2. The Yeerks are trying to use Earth satellites to spread Kandrona rays. Chapter 3.
That's an awful description of it.
That's what
Perfect.
happened. That's what we learned. Okay, so
I guess
chapter
so.
2, Marco's
today.
Marco's date didn't go well, and then the Chi tells them that the Yeerks are trying to use Earth satellites to spread Kandrona rays.
We're trying to turn every body of water into a Kandrona.
Yes, they're trying to make a satellite that makes it so they can turn water.
Okay, continue. Go.
Chapter 3, Animorphs meeting chapter with exposition of the characters.
Yeah.
And then Chapter 4, the Animorphs find Visser 3 to follow him to the new Yeerk base. That's where they're doing the Kandrona satellite stuff.
Yeah.
And as a backup...
We promised Mustard that we would play Mario RPG after this, so he just really wants to get to that.
No, not me.
No,
he loves Mario.
I don't like Mario RPG.
You never even finished it. You got to like the first boss.
Continue, sorry!
So they have the Chi staying back and
Mustard has to go to the bathroom really bad.
I don't! I want to read the next book.
Okay, so
Me too.
they have the Chi stay back and pretend to be them while they're gone. So they're gonna be gone for a few days to follow Visser 3 to this new satellite.
Yeah.
Then all of them morph into flies so they can keep from being spotted. Chapter 6. They're in Visser 3's ship. Whoops! This flight is going to be more than 2 hours. Man, if only they thought of that beforehand. Chapter 7. The Animorphs sit on Visser 3's belly, morphed as flies for a while. That's the whole chapter. Chapter 8. Axe puts on his best Visser 3 voice and calls the guards to distract them. It works. Chapter 9. While they're nearly finished morphing, because they morph at some point, Visser 3 finds the Animorphs. Chapter 10. Visser 3 goes to summon his Hork-Bajir, and the Animorphs morph into the battle morphs. Chapter 11. Rachel opens a large tube with a super cold alien inside. Which is one of Visser 3's pets, I guess. Chapter 12.
But it's frozen solid.
It's like frozen, yeah.
So they don't interact with it. So it's not important to the plot.
Yes, it is. Just that stuff happens later.
What do you mean they do it?
Chapter 12. Visser 3 drops them out of the ship and flies off because it's too cold.
That's not what happens.
Yes,
Yes, it is.
So you just didn't read this book. That's why you gave it a thumbs down.
Wait, they break out of the ship. Visser 3 doesn't drop
they
them
break out.
And Visser 3 runs off because it's too cold.
Okay, but he doesn't kick them out. They escape because they realize they're over.
No, Visser 3 like opens the doors. And he's like, okay, it's
No,
too
they
cold
open
over
the
there.
doors.
Visser 3's like,
They,
it's too...
they have a whole plan of how they get the doors
and
open.
Visser 3...
I read this twice.
And Visser 3...
I found out the second time. First time I thought that's what happened.
And Visser 3's like, it's too cold, I'm gonna let them go. Because they're dead anyway. They're dead anyway, that's what he says. Chapter 13. The Animorphs are in a rocky area with the freezing mist. Just like these cold aliens are like so cold they like it's like negative 200 of your degrees. Chapter 14. Marco almost dies from freezing. Then the Venber come out of the mist. That's those cold aliens. Chapter 15. The Animorphs run away from the ice monsters and hide in a cave. Chapter 16. They keep hiding from the Venber and watching a polar bear nearby. That's it. Chapter 17. Axe tells the rest of the group about the Venber, which were long extinct. The Yeerks had to revive them. Chapter 18. It's the exact same as Chapter 16. Chapter 19. While eating a seal, they think about acquiring that big polar bear. They're morphed as wolves, just they can stand the cold better. Instead, they capture a baby seal, and all of them morph into seals. The seal bodies are really warm, but a killer whale tries eating them. Chapter 22. They demorph, then meet a friendly Inuit boy who gives them blankets. Derek watches as they tackle the polar bear and then acquire it. As polar bears, the Animorphs head on toward the Yeerk satellite place. One of the human controllers guarding the place sets off the alarm. Chapter 26. The Animorphs hijack a bug fighter and explode the satellite. Everyone goes home, and Marco takes a very long and hot shower. That's this book.
Alright.
Sorry, I kept interrupting you. That was bad. That was me to do.
So you think nothing happened in this book?
Well, they destroyed the base.
Well, okay, that was like
the base that was introduced in this book.
That was like two paragraphs.
That's like the same. That was like the dumbest part of book 23, where they just destroyed a base that was introduced in that book. It's like, oh wow, okay.
My first note on it. Well, first of all, the title is
back.
The Extreme, and the heading is So Many Yeerks, So Little Time. There are no Yeerks in this book that get destroyed. That's not at all a part of this
There's
book.
controllers in this book.
Yeah, they spare them specifically.
They
They
specifically
do
spare them.
Oh, you're right.
Which was nice. I like that.
So I guess the Extreme is referring to the extreme conditions they have to try
Yeah.
to survive
Well, yeah,
under.
obviously, yeah.
So 90% of this book is the Animorphs being like, "Ugh, it's so cold."
Yeah, that's why it sucked.
But that's like good writing, because that's what they were dealing with.
Yeah, but
You
I
have to
don't-
deal with it
It
too.
wasn't compelling though.
Let me say why.
You have to deal. If they have to deal with it, you have to deal with it.
Okay, here's the thing. This book was an exact replicate of book 11, except instead of the jungle, it's in an even more boring place to me.
No, I like this more than a jungle.
Honestly, you're right, because in book 11 they do just meet up with a guy.
Yeah, they also meet local people who think they'll
Meet
experience
local
or something.
people
It's the
who
exact
think
same
experience.
book.
Yeah.
Except there's not any of the cool stuff that was in that book.
Derek's like a cool, like
True.
skeptical guy though.
Like, they almost died, but you know what?
I love
cool?
I
Derek.
love Derek.
He was
Yeah.
so cool.
He was chill, yeah.
He was the best character of the
He was
book by
better than
far.
that guy in book 11.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even
Derek is
remember the
best
guy in book
character in
11.
this book.
My first note was a guess at what this book should be about. Because before I read this, I heard Mustard say, "Oh yeah, this book is awful. It's my first thumbs down. It's really
I said it
bad."
was awful. I just said it was my first
I said,
time.
"Hey, what if Marion was actually a Martian? Wouldn't that be funny? Because
So
her
yeah,
name's only
nothing
one
happened
letter
with the
away from
stinking
Martian."
Marion subplot. I don't know why it existed.
Oh, okay. I
That's
actually,
just this chapter's first chapter one's always nothing relevant happening. This one just Marco goes on a failed date.
Okay, it's not even like related to anamorphing either.
Not at all.
No, I thought I wrote some notes. I assumed you would say that. I did write some notes about it.
Okay.
Mustard has like a whole spreadsheet of okay, if Banner says this is my response.
No. I just said like I kind of like that Miriam wasn't a controller related to the plot. Like that would be like way too predictable.
Yeah.
Okay,
she
but what
should have
happened
been.
was not compelling.
No, but I think it adequately for new readers demonstrated how careful and suspicious they have to be while doing normal human interactions.
They should have made her a Martian.
How?
That was
They
the
didn't
whole
even
plot,
show-
where she
they
was
didn't
a
even
Martian
show
from
him
Mars.
at
She
the
was a
symphony
Mars
hall.
lady.
Well, it doesn't matter if they, but it,
They
like
didn't even show him at the symphony hall being careful or anything.
Well,
no,
'cause
but
he
he wasn't careful. But the Animorphs were spying on him, and it's like, man, I can't even go on a date without my Animorphs friend spying on me. That's
Yeah,
like
that's
being
true.
an Animorph. And he
Alright.
talked about how he can't like share, he can't like do a cartwheel. That part was weird, but he can't like do a cartwheel on the table or whatever. And it was a slice of Moko's life, and it was thought it was kind of funny how like she's clearly not his type, but he's just infatuated that a girl likes him. And also, he just lies to her about liking classical music and like.
And then he falls
None of
asleep
that is
during.
interesting to me. Sorry, Mustard.
They go to Beethoven's Third Symphony, and Marco just falls asleep through the whole thing until after everyone leaves.
Yeah, it wasn't particularly humorous, but I liked it more than if it was a predictable part of the plot. I also liked it more than most of the book. So
It could have just been a duplicate of that whole Arya arc, I guess.
So I've been to symphony halls where the music's really boring and I want to fall asleep.
I've been to symphony halls where the music is really cool.
Yeah, well, that's it. I looked at
Tell you
Beethoven's
what.
Third Symphony and listened to it. I was like, this is not sleep music at all. This is like,
Beethoven Symphony No. 3.
this is bob in my head music.
My dad and I would go to symphony hall sometimes, and I fell asleep one time. And I
Yeah,
felt
some
really
of them are boring. Like I'd say about half of them I listened to was like, this just move
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
But the other half was like, great, this is cool. It's just cool. That's one way to
It's
describe
really,
it.
classical music is really kind of hit or miss, I have to admit.
Yeah, but Beethoven's Third Symphony's hit. I gotta say, I listened to it while I was reading. I listened to it with headphones too, because these laptop speakers aren't great.
yeah, but he was in the symphony hall. So
Yeah,
it was
he
all
would've
around,
had it
it was
all
even
around
cooler
him.
to him. Anyway, can we talk about like Visit 3 or whatever?
Well, first I want to. They mentioned something called howlers, which is what killed the Pemalites.
I thought this was going to be the Howler book. Like, they're going to come back in this. but no.
I was wondering, did we mention howlers yet?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh,
we mentioned them in the first part.
It's in the Android, yeah.
Oh, we didn't know. I thought we didn't know the name of the creatures that wiped them out.
No, that's
I don't
No,
remember
it's
hearing the
okay.
name at all.
Okay.
I want to know more about them. Why do they keep introducing more and more aliens? Okay, by the way, Venber, not interesting to me at all.
Thank you, I agree.
Bad alien.
I like them. I should draw a picture
They
of
have
the vendor.
skis.
I'm drawing a
You
picture of the
should.
vendor.
Their bodies are skis.
Yeah, that's neat and all, but I don't care.
I love skiing.
This book just had
That's all I have to
nothing that
say.
was like every single thing in this book I could point to
Okay,
something
yeah, I
in
thought it
another
was cool
book.
that their feet were skis and they had like their arms split off so that the lower part of their arm can jut out and like act like a ski pole.
Yeah.
Dude, that's like the Animorphs Book Club podcast icon creature.
It is like that.
It kind of has arms like that.
You should edit that to make it look like a member.
Okay.
It's silver too.
The
I thought that Animorphs were black and red.
Canonically, an Animorphs Book Club
They're
podcast
silver,
creature
but
has
with
ski
red
feet.
and blue.
That's not true. What?
Red and blue stripes.
What?
They're silver, but with red and blue stripes.
Oh. Natural, that's not true. I have a full picture of him.
Oh, okay.
It's point feet.
Okay.
Something interesting about the aliens, actually. So the Kapplegates are apparently the most advanced alien race ever to exist in the history of the universe. So what about the Elmists in that case?
Those are fairy tales.
Marco knows that the Elmists are real.
Moko is wrong when he says that they're the most advanced.
Yeah.
I think maybe
There's
just
a lot
views.
of like weird slip-ups and things that don't make sense in this book.
Yeah,
I'll
this
have
is the
to
first
say.
ghostwritten book, by the way.
Oh
it
yeah, we
is?
didn't say that yet this episode. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the first ghostwritten book.
Well, it really shows it.
I think that's part of why I gave it a thumbs down. Maybe if I didn't know that, I wouldn't give it. But at this point, I was like, okay, I'm halfway through the series. I need some kind of metric for what determines a thumbs down. And I looked at every book, and I was like, this book was by far less interesting than every single book. So it's like, I wouldn't, if someone had the same taste as me, I wouldn't recommend they read this book, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like there's a part where they're just sitting around in the school gym and Cassie's flipping through a veterinary medicine magazine. Like, is this your idea of like, oh yeah, Cass, that's what Cassie's character is, said the ghostwriter. She likes veterinary medicine. So she's going to be reading a veterinary medicine magazine at school.
I don't know, that didn't seem weird to me.
Maybe your dad was like, hey Cassie, read this so you can adequately give suppositories to whatever animal it says, to skunks. The third mention of giving suppositories to animals in this time, in this book. I wonder if like that was one of Kapplegate's ghostwritten notes. It's like, oh, if you want to describe Cassie, one thing you can do is say that she gives suppository to blank animal.
Yeah, I wonder how like detailed I would like to see the handbook for how to write Animorphs that Kapplegate would have
There's
made.
just no angst, no character in this at all. Yeah.
No
Very
Visor
boring.
1.
No Visor 1 for once.
It might have been better if it was like not in the middle of a nothing. Like I part of the reason I didn't like it is because half the book was in the middle of nowhere and they were just cold, which is like I can't blame that you wrote that. I just think it's uninteresting. Maybe if it wasn't that, it'd be better, but I don't know. Just even without that, it was just not very interesting in the book. So apparently the ghost written based on outlines from Kapplegate, and I'm curious if that had like the Miriam stuff on it, and she's like, oh yeah, you knew a little Miriam. You know, I'm curious how detailed that was, or if they just came up with that.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about fun, talk about freedom. It's everything you've imagined and more. We were following a highway out of town around the forest that surrounded some nearby mountains. It was an absolutely perfect day for flying, sunny, warm, and so clear you could see for miles. The surface of the highway absorbed the sun's warmth, creating some really nice thermals, which are pockets of warm, rising air.
Why are you reading this?
We were spread pretty far apart. In the animal kingdom, birds of prey just don't hang together. Each of us took turns flying over the highway, catching a thermal and letting it lift up in the air like an invisible elevator. Then we'd coast for a while, slowly drifting downward in the direction we wanted to go. We hardly had to flap our wings at all.
Why are you reading this?
It was just the most half-assed flying is fun passage I've seen.
It seems not even remarkable to me. It just seems
not.
normal.
That's why I read it.
It doesn't seem remarkable in terms of its badness.
It was just so boring. He said, talk about fun, talk about freedom, it's everything you've imagined and more, and then he just describes it in like the most boring way possible. Like that's this book.
I think I did laugh once in this book, which is good. But man, Marco's like first book I thought was hilarious.
Yeah, I feel like the first 5 books, they really put, Kapplegate really put a lot of effort into making them distinct from each other in terms of the narration, and then that kind of just fell off.
I think, I didn't say this, but I remember reading, I think it was the previous 2 books, because it was Jake and, no, it was, I don't know, but I kept forgetting who the narrator was while I was reading. I was like, oh yeah, like Cassie, because it just wasn't, like the Tobias book is like obviously the whole thing's Tobias because he's Tobias, you know.
Well, remember like in the first few books we were reading, and you're like, I can't wait to get a Marco book, and then we got the Marco book, and you guys were like, wow, the narration's so different and fun. Like, can you imagine if this was the first Marco book?
That would be awful.
It'd be very disappointing.
Yeah, exactly. Like this book just wasn't really a Marco book.
Can you imagine if the first Cassie book was a stupid thing about whales? Oh wait. Here's the thing is. My expectations for good Animorphs book are really high. My expectations
What are you
for...
talking about? How many things have you disliked?
No, 0. But my expectations for a mediocre Animorphs book are really low.
I see.
Yeah, 'cause I'm the only one who thumbs down on this. Everyone else just says meh.
Yeah, I didn't mind this book.
So it was a high man.
Yeah, it was a high.
Yeah,
man.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
I would have put like a shard thing.
Oh, so you're saying it exceeded your expectations because your expectations for my books are so low.
Just a mustard's thumbs down. My expectations were so low. I was like, well, how awful is this going to be? And I was like, this is better than other books.
That's why I don't look at the books channel. Before.
Well, he told me beforehand.
Okay.
I was like a third down with the book. I was like, well, it's not awful yet. When's it going to get awful, huh?
Yeah, it wasn't awful.
It just never went anywhere.
None of it was awful, but it's my least favorite thing about a book was just boring.
Mm-hmm.
No, there have been more boring books, I think.
No. Like, okay, the two that I would consider maybe more boring were book 15.
Which one's that?
Marco's Mom Sharks, and book 11. But both of those had really interesting stuff and scenes in them.
Yeah, this one doesn't have anything that's
This
super
had
interesting.
nothing interesting.
I like the creatures.
Every mediocre Animorphs book is usually saved by something cool in it, and this one just didn't have any of that.
You know, and another thing, I bet that like satellite Candona Ray is never gonna come back. It's
Yeah, it's not.
They destroyed it.
Like, oh, it's destroyed. I guess they'll never try that again. Another weird thing that just seemed like
at least Captain Scurvy tried to steal the crystal coconut like at least 3 separate times,
Yeah.
despite being thwarted.
Yeah, Don Crunchy TV show is better than this.
It is.
I was never like bored watching that.
Yeah, me neither.
I was getting a little bored near the last episode.
I was getting a little bored near the
I was
beginning.
getting sick of it. I don't know if I would say bored.
I was getting bored like halfway through the second episode, and I was like, oh man, I just cannot watch 2 more episodes of this. I'm gonna suggest we stop. But then it kept going, and I was like, oh, it's okay, it's good.
So using satellites, they use in the
Game Boy game.
in the Game Boy Color video game, they use satellites to like control animals, like the Lyrans.
It's like a Pokemon plot.
Yeah, I thought maybe that would happen, but they do control those snowy guys.
Well, yes, because we can just explain this now. The Venber are a silicon-based life form, and because silicon is what we use in our computers, the Yeerks saw this as a golden opportunity to make like a programmable biological creature, so they did that. And now all the Venber are just computers, and they're programmed to do whatever the Yeerks want them to do, and that's why they're boring and not interesting because they don't have any character.
Well, they would have character though.
Yeah, but we don't get to see it.
And thousands of years ago, they were used for fuel, also.
By this other alien species called the Five.
Yeah.
That I want to know more about.
The Furious Five.
I thought it was interesting that the Animorphs were like, oh yeah, we have to go destroy the satellite. Oh, what if it takes a while? And I was like, oh, I'll just have my friends change our holograms to look like you guys and play out your life at home. That was interesting.
At first I was like, man, how are the Chi gonna like be convincing? But then I thought, the Chi are thousands of years old. They've seen a lot of people. They've hidden in with people for a long time. They can handle it.
Well, Eric ends up cleaning Marco's room.
Yeah.
Or one of his friends.
And then Marco apparently a day later makes it messy again, and his dad's like, Marco, your room's a pizza. I knew that
And the
wouldn't
garage.
last."
He cleans the garage too.
Yeah.
I think it was Eric, because I think Marco said, oh, Eric seems like the type to read comic books in the bath.
Hey, when Vicious 3's going to get his Chandona, how do they stop Alaran from like killing everyone?
What do you
Or just,
Alan
like,
doesn't
killing-
take over.
Huh? Why not?
Oh. That's a good question. And why doesn't he just kill himself?
Yeah,
I guess they like tie him up a lot or something.
Or
Oh,
maybe,
wait, yeah, I never thought about
or
that.
maybe he's so weak he like can't control his body at this point.
He's like Chapman.
Wait, I never considered that Visit 3 actually get Kendrona every 3 days.
Or maybe he doesn't. That's why he's insane.
Oh my god.
I really
No, because
I really dig the Visit 3's actually insane.
In book
theory.
6
So he's
16,
been eating oatmeal this
No,
whole
in book
time.
16 it said Visit 3 wants to know the secret to how to not need Kendrona anymore.
So you're saying he found that out, so now he's been eating other Yeerks?
No, I think he hasn't found that out.
So
He has eaten another.
how
Yeerks,
is he
though.
surviving? How is he still in Alaran's body then? That's
'Cause
what
he-
we're trying to explain.
Well, my explanation is that he does get Kendrona every 3 days.
Okay. I'm not saying Visser 3 isn't crazy.
In chapter 5, Sploot makes a return.
Excuse me.
That was from an earlier book.
Yeah, my fingers splooted out.
Now you know why I have an incredible urge to pee on myself whenever we come near this guy.
An incredible urge.
Because he's so hot.
Wait, what?
I just thought the wording pee on myself and not pee
Yeah.
in my pants.
Yeah, and the way you read that, I had no idea where that sentence was going when you started reading that.
Yeah,
I
it's
have
a
the
weird sentence,
incredible
dude.
urge to pee on myself.
Like
that what
he wants it in his brain. Like it's not doesn't happen involuntarily.
Yeah, it's
like
an
that
urge.
sucks, dude.
Is that like when he sees Visit 3, it says that?
When he
Yeah.
sees Visitor 3, yeah.
Oh.
When Visitor 3 morphed into some bizarre giant alien and chomped him down like a piece of sushi.
What chapter is that in?
Like the third
Like
one.
4, 5,
Four.
6.
I have like no notes for any of this.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
fourth. Alright, chapter 5. Who said... Oh yeah, Sploot.
Splooch, that's
The
it.
best scene
Shoot.
happens next with all on Visit 3.
Oh,
That's the best scene.
there's a recurring theme in this book of like Axe saying, "Oh yes, 2 of your human Earth hours," and Marco's like, "No, they're everyone's
and
hours."
that never goes anywhere either.
Yeah,
Axe
and
at the end isn't like, you know what, Marco, you're right. I am an Earthling
Well, Marco's
now."
not right. That's the thing.
So it's just annoying for no reason.
Yeah,
Marco
it's-
doesn't seem to
it's
understand
not
how
funny.
insignificant human social in America specifically. Like even just he's like, "Oh, there are degrees now too. What you can't just everyone uses Fahrenheit Axe."
Does he say that?
He complains about Axe not saying your degrees.
This was a thing that happened in previous books, and like he said that, but they didn't keep going on and coming back to it like every 5 chapters.
Yeah.
Like,
Marco.
oh, Axe, why do you keep saying
Marco
your
has this
degrees?
weird obsession in this book for some reason.
Marco just use the fact that humans don't matter in the universe. Just learn that.
I think he'd be used to it by now, by book 25.
Well, it's more of an Axe thinks he's still this uppity Andalite who's not one of us, but
Because he is.
he's been living here for months and months. He's an Earthling now, which I don't necessarily agree with, but that's how I saw into it.
Also, like, did they have to hitchhike visit this ship? Couldn't they just like follow it?
No, it was a stupid plan.
Yeah. It was so stupid, I don't even want to talk about it.
Oh, well, I want to talk about the scene when they're on Visit. So they morph as...
Why? All I do is like, wow, this is taking so long. I'm
No,
so bored.
no,
I wish
no,
we had cars.
no.
They hop.
no.
They're flies or fleas or whatever. They hop on Visit 3's tummy.
Fleas would have made sense, but I think he would have noticed like 6 flies on him.
Tobias added, I mean, I'm finding myself very attracted to Vista's sweat. How sick is that? Yeah, Cassie agreed, he stinks, but to my fly brain, he actually smells kind of good.
Yeah, they all say that visit 3 is
And then
stinky, but they like
Axe
it.
is like, he does not stink.
Andalites do not stink.
Yeah.
Andalites don't sit either, which is a note I have.
Yeah, they just stand up. They're like horses.
Horses sit, though.
No.
They, like, bend their legs and
They,
lie
like,
down.
Horses
down.
sleep standing up.
No, but they can lie down too.
Yeah, but they don't do it that much.
They can like fold their legs.
Google horse sitting. There's nice, good pictures.
Okay, why you giggling?
They can sleep standing up, but they also sleep lying down.
Oh,
If you're a horse,
alright.
if you're a horse, you need to be able to do both.
There's horses sitting on chairs.
See?
These are really funny.
These are really
images.
funny pictures.
Axe could do that.
It's like when a cat like sits on its hind legs or like on its butt, I guess, and its legs are sticking out.
Chapter 7, someone says something funny, I think.
No, that doesn't happen in this book.
Oh yeah, Visit 3's like, excellent, with twice as many Venber, our project will be completed in half the time. And then Tobias says, well, at least he knows his math.
It's not funny.
No, it's
It's
not.
trying to,
It's funny.
it's a little amusing.
Oh my gosh.
I'm setting Iron Maiden in the group chat because Marco mentions it.
I was just gonna get to that. Yeah, Visit 3, he has various torture devices hanging from his walls,
What a mustache twirler.
collected
I
from around the
know.
galaxy.
Great. What an interesting character trait.
Yeah, this really brings a lot to Mr. 3's character that we didn't get to see before.
I just thought it was cool that he collects things.
At least he has a
That's like
hobby.
the lowest, yeah.
And one of them's an Iron Maiden. Then
The lowest possible standard.
Dinosaur calls Iron Maiden Dinosaur Rock, which doesn't seem like Moko to me.
Dinosaur calls dinosaur right made in dinosaur rock? What?
Moko.
Okay, what is dinosaur? We
What?
just...
You said dinosaur calls Iron Maiden dinosaur
No,
rock.
we didn't.
I said Moko.
What?
Wait, hold on.
Dinosaur calls Iron Maiden Dinosaur Rock.
Leave it to the Animorphs Book Club podcast to promote gaslighting.
Oh, I heard
Marco
dinosaur
calls
at
it.
least twice in that
Okay,
sentence.
what does dinosaur rock mean? Let me discuss this.
Yeah,
last
we
time
did.
you
It means like
mentioned
old music, but I don't
Does
know
it?
Moko would call
No,
it.
does it?
Yes, it does.
I did not recall that when I was reading this in the book. This
But
book.
yeah, I thought it was weird. And then the part I actually laughed at, well, okay, I didn't laugh at this part, but I thought it was very funny, is the flies and they're really bored because it's taking a long time. And Moko starts telling a blonde joke. And then Rachel and Tobias get annoyed.
Tobias is like, I'm blonde too. Think about who you're talking about when you tell blonde jokes, Marco.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, you're dirty blonde."
He
Oh,
said-
it's
no, he
just
says-
for a couple hours a week.
Yeah. Oof.
Excuse me.
What a jab
So
at
I guess this
Tobias.
establishes that Tobias turns into a human every week. Just more often than I would have expected, I think.
Oh,
I think
really?
Marco just throwing numbers out there.
He and Rachel got to go on a date
Yeah, he goes to the Animorphs meetings.
as a bird.
Do we ever talk about whether?
Yeah, as a bird.
Wait, I'm going to finish the jokester. He starts the joke. Anyway, the one blonde calls out to the other blonde. Oh, wait. Two blondes are standing across the river from one another, and one blonde calls out to the other blonde how they get to the other side. And then Axe says, "That's very funny, Marco." Before he tells the punchline.
Yeah.
I forget about that. That is funny.
Yeah, I laughed at that. I wrote that
Me
down.
too.
That was really funny.
X said brightly.
Yeah, he was trying to understand human humor.
Yeah,
He's like,
cute.
"Oh, that's funny." And the part I laughed at, which it's a very standard joke, but just someone said break a leg, and Axe responded, "Whose leg?"
That's not funny at all.
well, I thought it was.
That's not
funny.
even in character. Axe wouldn't hear. Okay, I'll break someone's leg here. Who's
Yeah,
leg
that's
am I
why it was
breaking?
weird, because it's implied that he thinks they're telling him to break someone else's leg.
And they've also said that phrase before.
Yeah, it was weird, but I laughed at that because the phrase, the response "whose leg" was just the weirdest thing. Like, he could have said like, "Why would I break my leg?" But he said "whose leg."
Well, because he's gonna break some legs doing this.
I guess so.
I almost felt sorry for the Hork-Bajir. They're just helpless slaves of the Yeerks. Whatever they do is at the command of the evil Yeerks in their brains. In fact, before the Yeerks conquered them, the Hork-Bajir were a peaceful race. They're just big, dumb, bark-eating lizards, and kind of sweet, really. Innocent victims in a war that didn't seem to have any other kind. So why do you only almost feel sorry
I
for
wrote
them?
that down too.
But I don't really feel sorry for them. I'll still kill them ruthlessly, whatever.
Yeah, really.
I did notice that in this book they seem to have more sympathy for Taxons too. They just seem to understand the Taxons more than they ever had previously.
Are you sure the Taxons? Oh yeah, because they said like, oh yeah, Taxons, it's just part of the biology.
Yeah.
They just eat themselves. when
Oh,
they're
that
dying.
was the freaky scene where the taxon dies and then it just starts eating its other half.
Yeah.
Yum yum
'Cause they just
yum.
have
Last
oxygen
meal.
into it.
Yum yum.
But yeah, and I remember that, I think it was, I'm pretty sure it was in, like, where they were like, oh yeah, we don't want to kill the controllers, we're not here to kill them, we're here to...
In every previous book, they just say Texans are disgusting and awful and evil.
Yeah, they do.
This one author felt bad for them.
I guess so.
That's
So
nice.
that's cool that, I mean, maybe,
I love Texans.
Hey,
maybe
how many-
it's bad
what do
writing
you-
because it's not how the Animorphs
Do
tend
you... Sorry. You go on.
to...
I found some blonde jokes that were written
Wait,
around the same time.
I
this
wanted
book
Musker
was
to go
for
on,
me.
not you.
I was just saying, like, maybe it's bad writing because the Animorphs tend to not feel sympathy, especially Marco, tends to not feel sympathy for controllers and the creatures, so maybe that's just the ghostwriter not knowing the differences between the characters. Maybe Kapplegate wrote that in her notes, like, oh, this is how they feel, but just hasn't been doing it for some reason.
Yeah, that makes sense. Do you think that the ghost writers, like, do you think they read every single book prior to this one?
Yeah, I think so.
I
You
wouldn't have
do?
expected them
What about like book 50? Do you think they read all previous 50 books
I
and
wouldn't
the Chronicles?
expect them to read.
No, I think
the,
they read all the ones before the Ghost
Yeah, I don't
Riders
think they
came
would have
out.
read all the ghostwritten ones, but they would have read all Kapplegate's.
You think so?
So you think
Yeah.
that like book 27, which is also ghost written, they might not have read this book, but they did read the Kapplegate written books.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
I
don't
have
think
no
they
idea,
read
but
all
that's
that.
what I would do. Because why would I go off of a ghostwriter? I would go off of the actual...
Because that
person
means that like
writing
the
the
plot
original
can't really
books.
progress within the ghost written books.
Oh no!
Well, I
is
assume-
this
I
Well,
assumed-
foreshadowing?
I just assumed it
I wouldn't
didn't.
expect Kapplegate to trust the ghostwriters to progress the plot too much anyway.
Yeah.
So you think that so for your information, the plot, the
Wait,
remaining
Why are you telling us this? What?
the ghost written books.
Why are we spending so much time on this?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Why are you spoiling the Ghost Written books for us? What are you doing?
I'm just gonna tell you which books are ghost written.
Oh,
Four.
yeah, you've told us this.
The only books remaining that aren't ghost written are the last two,
Yeah, well, and the Starfish book.
and the Starfish book and the Chronicles and the Megamorphs.
But I think that's why they're introducing so many characters in these last three books, new aliens, because it's like, oh, I gotta get these out of the way before I hand it over to the Ghost Written books.
Hey, listen, Animorphs are always like saying stuff in the books that we already know, so we can do it on the podcast too.
At one part, Rachel got mad that Marco implied that Tobias and Rachel like each other. That's probably been in the books before, I don't remember it though.
I won't tell my blonde jokes I found.
Yeah,
No.
Marco like explicitly says that they're an item, which I thought was kind of cool.
That they were what?
An item. A
What-
thing, a couple.
I've never heard the phrase
You've
item
never
used
heard
in
of
a
the
while.
phrase item?
No, never.
Or-
Not to
thing?
mean a couple. I've
I've
heard
heard
a
a
thing.
thing.
I've Oh, but they're
Not an item.
item. It's like what you collect in video games.
They're an object.
You're such a nerd gamer. You don't know anything about dating, lol.
Can I tell my blonde jokes I found?
Newman's own
from, like,
virgin
this-
yellow mustard.
From this 90s website.
Ugh.
This should have been where Marco found the blonde
Wait,
jokes.
no,
on his website.
no.
No, it's not.
I don't want to hear your blonde jokes.
Why?
I'm sure Marco looked up on a website that's still around in the year 2022.
Well, no, the website's really old though.
Do we have any
I
notes?
want to tell
Seriously?
them. They're in my notes.
I think we should let Stir tell it, because I didn't get any joy out of this book, and he seems to have gotten
You really
some
think you're
amount
gonna
of
get
joy.
some joy out of the blonde jokes?
I think he's gotten some joy out of these blonde jokes, so we have to have some amount of joy in here.
Okay, you have blonde
They're
jokes.
both dumb.
You have blonde jokes. You
Yeah.
wanna read?
Okay. Two. I have two. Okay.
You have 2 blonde jokes.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, I'm kind of blonde.
Let's hear them.
Yeah, you're the blonde one here. Okay, 2 blondes are in a parking lot trying to unlock the door of their Mercedes with a coat hanger. Blonde number 1, I can't seem to get this door unlocked. Blonde number 2, well, you'd better hurry up and try harder. It's starting to rain and the top is down.
Wait, where'd you get this?
Okay, that's
Oh,
funny.
that
Right.
is funny.
Here's the second joke.
I actually laughed at that. I wasn't surprised. I was not expecting that.
This one, I think it was just dumb. That's the only reason I wrote it. 2 blondes were 2 blondes were walking through the woods when one looked down and said, "Oh, look at the deer tracks." The other blonde looks and says, "Those aren't deer tracks. Those are wolf tracks." "No, those are deer tracks." They keep arguing and arguing, and half an hour later, they were both killed by a train.
Oh, because they're train tracks?
Oh
my gosh. Yeah, I haven't heard either of those before.
That's a
so-
good one.
And I got some laughs from both the blonde jokes, see?
Alright. Thank you.
What?
But not from Batter, who's the one who objected to them. So I guess it was still a fail.
I'm going for democracy here.
They were good, but they weren't good enough to loll at, you know?
Yeah.
I still don't get the second one. So were there deer tracks?
No,
and...
they were train tracks.
Oh, I see. So they were. I saw like there were somehow deer tracks and wolf tracks.
No, they're
on
so
the train
stupid
tracks.
that they thought
Okay.
train tracks were animal
Yeah.
tracks.
Oh, okay. That is kind of funny.
So you don't get it because you're.
Yeah. I'm still too blonde.
I liked it when Axe, pretends to be Visit 3 and it works.
I
thought
Yeah,
didn't
that's cool.
work.
Cool
I thought
moment
didn't
for
work.
Axe.
No, it
It
worked.
works.
No, this plan was so stupid. Not the part about him pretending to be Visor 3, but their plan is...
It literally says the taxon wasn't fooled when he said that.
No, the Harbinger was, though. He did it earlier and it worked.
Did he?
Yeah.
He does it twice.
Okay.
That's
I like
why
how
he
the
gets
plan
Visit
was
3 to
just
leave
to
the room
just
in the
huddle up to
first
Visit 3
Okay,
sweaty
he gets
for his
Visor 3 to
body.
leave the room because he keeps calling the Hork-Bajir or whatever, he keeps calling the controllers back there, and they keep coming back, and Visor 3's like, "What? I didn't call you!" And then they leave again, and Axe does it again, and he's like, "That's it! I'm gonna chase you around the ship like this is a Scooby-Doo movie!" like, I'm not just gonna kill you where I stand because I have a really long
Is that
tail
what,
that
did he
Yeah,
chase
the
him
logic of
around?
that-
He
That
literally
makes sense.
he ran out of the room and closed the door behind him.
Really? I didn't
Yes!
know that.
That shouldn't have worked. It was bad writing. Bad.
Yep.
I don't remember that at all.
This book had bad writing in it.
Is Taxons
It
eating
annoyed me.
themselves new lore?
I think that's.
I don't think I've ever seen that happen.
I'll put it in the lore
It's
chapter.
possible it could.
Mustard, look up slurped up his own guts, because I'm pretty sure that exact phrase appeared in an earlier book.
I don't think it did.
What's
No, it never
spoken?
says that the taxon slurped. It says it slurped his tongue back down his throat.
Okay. Maybe that's in a later book or something, I guess.
No, I don't think they've ever eaten themselves. Just like
Okay.
other dead taxons.
Yeah.
Well, what an uninteresting book for that to be inaugurated.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, so much stuff was inaugurated in this book. Visit 3 smells sweaty and stinky.
He still smells. What if he still smelled like skunk?
No. They'd say he smelled like
You
skunk.
got the grape juice.
What if they said that though?
That'd be really
Axe
dumb.
would say that he smells.
X just denying that he smells like skunk.
I have no other notes for the whole book. Actually, that's all I have.
Another thing, very insignificant, but Visit 3 is aware that they can morph into bugs now, apparently.
Yeah, why would they not be aware of that?
Well, wasn't there a previous book
He's-
where they hit his flies and he was like, where do they go?
He said that in book 6. He was like, "Do you not think they sprayed them with? They were cockroaches and they sprayed them with bug spray."
Oh, okay. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Also, Axe tells a joke. He just says reports of their extinction may have been exaggerated, I
That doesn't
guess.
sound like a joke to me.
I like
That
that
sounds
line.
familiar.
Remember.
That sounds like something Andalite would just say seriously, but I like it.
Yeah.
The Andalites aren't going to say, oh, we were wrong. They're just going to say, we might have been exaggerating, maybe.
Oh, so the reason the Venber are back.
Moment.
Axis theory is that the Yeerks were able to bring the Venber back by combining Venber DNA with human DNA.
There's just all these details in this book that don't matter. Like,
They really don't.
the backstory of the Venber is cool. It's not even cool. It's whatever.
Cool.
And then they're like, oh, these Venber are hybrids of humans and Venber, isn't it?
That's just a thing.
Wow! Okay, cool. Whatever, I don't care. Nothing in this book matters.
That was like a bedtime story Axe told them or something.
Yeah.
The
And then later, when I don't really care about going in order from this point.
I'm done.
But yeah, me too. When the Venber melt, there's this point where they're like, we waited till all 8 of the Venber at the base had destroyed themselves.
Why?
I don't know why. With all the danger, all the terror, someone still needed to be a witness. Someone needed to be able to tell the world someday about the Yeerk atrocity. Okay, this book is not nearly good enough to try and be deep. Like, no way. Like, this book, it was like, oh yeah, we need to... acting like this was a significant event in their lives.
They
just
really
death.
freaked out about having to eat the baby seal as wolves.
Yeah, they did.
And that surprised me.
I'm glad Cassie didn't object to them. I'm glad Cassie got a...
Cassie's like, what?
Well, Cassie was like, what, you think I'm stupid?
This is bringing back, like, book 19 Cassie, which is kind of lit, actually.
Yeah, I'm glad Cassie didn't object to it.
Yeah.
I was kind of expecting her to. It would have been really stupid of her to do that.
Yeah, we just hate Cassie on this podcast, huh?
This is a Cassie hate podcast.
We like book 19 Cassie, which is like
No,
Cassie's
Cassie
actual
can be good
character.
sometimes.
Which one's book? Is that the Yeerk one?
Yeah, the Yeerk one. That should be the only Cassie book or stuff that's similar. I like.
Yeah. Well,
I
They're
want
in the
more books
cold.
like
I
that.
like book 19 being special, being the only book that's like that, though.
That's true. Yeah, I put like I think in my ranking I put 13 above 19, but like 19 is like the best book. I don't think we're ever gonna top it, honestly.
Yeah.
Maybe the finale, who knows?
I
like
I still like
that.
Andalite Chronicles more, but yeah, it's Buck 19 is really good.
I just like Andalites.
I don't. That's why book 19 is my favorite. Can we stop talking about things that we literally said word for word last episode, please?
This is the word for word last
Yeah.
episode podcast.
Joe was barely in the last episode. He feels.
Okay, the episode before the last.
Jake, okay, so they're
Tournament, sorry.
in the cold to see a polar bear, and Jake says, "What do polar bears eat?" And then Marco mutters, "Dumb kids playing hero."
Alright, dumbest thing in this book. The Animorphs don't morph polar bear when they first see the polar bear, because later on, nothing that Derek does helps them actually morph the polar bear.
Yeah, he's just like, oh, the polar bear's my friend, so I'll watch you guys.
I thought it was gonna be something dumb like, oh, Derek tames the polar bear and calms him down so the Animorphs can acquire him. Nope, Derek just watches while they do what they would have literally done if they had the courage to go and acquire the polar bear first.
Like,
Patty.
Okay,
They
objection.
waste their time for no reason.
Objection.
Yeah.
What?
Objection.
They were too busy dying to acquire the polar bear.
They were pretty cold, I guess, because they'd have to go on the human morphs, I guess. But
They morph back and forth from human all the time.
They were too busy dying because
I don't think so.
once they met the guy that okay, we can chill now. We're not dying anymore. Okay, let's go get that polar bear, and they did it. That's.
yeah, but if
they
they
weren't dying enough for me.
if they acquired the polar bear, then they wouldn't have been dying.
No, they acquired the seals. Okay, do you realize how long it took for them to acquire the seals? Just that they were busy dying. Dying takes a lot of energy out of you.
Man, Moko was dying in this book, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I started seeing light." But it's like there have been like 3 way cooler near-death experiences in Animorphs.
Yeah.
Well, that's how freezing death is. It's just kind of nothing.
Stir is like, listen, the subject of this book was boring, so it's not the book's fault for being boring.
Yeah, that's what I say. That's my dumb explanation of this episode.
Sure, continue next note. It doesn't matter. Do you have any notes for this book?
Not really.
I just think it's interesting that Marco describes himself as a dumb kid playing hero in this book.
Why is that? That's normal.
No, that's
not
like-
been
that's like
established
really,
in
like-
any other book.
That's a
apparently.
really pessimistic look, and I just wasn't expecting that. That's all.
Right, Marco is, you might say, nobody's hero.
I don't know what's happening.
But yeah, halfway through this book, this is another one of those books where halfway through you forget what the plot is.
Yeah, I totally forgot about the satellite until I brought it up at the end.
They stray away from the plot for like 20 chapters in a row and then get back to
the satellite was just an excuse to get the author to be able to write about them being cold. That's the whole point of this book is them cold.
And they weren't why.
And the framing device wasn't cool enough. Like the Sario rip was kind of cool, so that at least that for the I wanted to write. I know you could tell that they wanted to write about the jungle, but they had the Sario rip be a kind of a. It was relevant at least to the books, and
they could have done something dumb like this for book 11, but they didn't.
I think I like this more than the Jungle Book.
Oh man, I don't.
How?
Is that book 11?
How?
What did I rate book 11?
How? You love the ending of the stinking Jungle Book.
Oh, well, okay, the ending was better.
So I think if you read the Jungle Book again, you might disagree.
I know, the Jungle Book was cooler, but it was, the boring parts of the Jungle Book were more boring to me than...
How? Nothing boring happened in that book. It was
no, Stu and I thought a lot of it was boring.
I just was in a good mood when I read this. That's probably the most.
The first time I read this, I was horribly sick with a cold. So I was in a miserable mood. But I read it a second time. Then I still thought it was really boring.
Wow.
I may not have given it a thumbs down, but I was like, I think I should give it a thumbs down because it's the worst book.
Every chapter of this book, you can summarize it with one sentence. It's just like reading
and half of them you don't even have to because nothing happens.
It's like reading 27 small
Like the
books
Jungle
and
Book,
nothing
there was at least
happens.
cool set pieces. Like, oh, this one now was getting eaten by ants. And then they look at the jungle, how cool it is.
Exactly. In the jungle, it's different things about to kill them every time. In this book, it's always the same thing about to kill them.
It's either cold or polar bear. No, they should have been to the South Pole.
The polar bear was barely any threat.
There's no...
Yeah, the first book they acquire lions and tigers as kids. For the first time, let's skip straight to the lions. And they can't take it. They don't think they can take it. When you acquire something, it goes into a state where it doesn't attack you anymore.
Yeah, but those were tamed lions. This is a wild polar. Polar bears are bigger than.
They are bigger than lions.
That's not a thing. That's not a thing.
What? What's not a thing?
Tamed lions.
They were in the zoo.
You butts in the zoo.
No, but those lions have
I liked that there were orcas in this book.
I was gonna bring up how that didn't matter.
It didn't matter, no.
No, the orcas almost ate them once, though.
I just
wow. I was so tense during that scene. I was like, oh man, I bet this is what's gonna kill them.
The end of this book sucked too.
These orcas just coming out of nowhere.
The last chapter, where all that happens
this is why during the Megamorphs, I was like, they should have just been left in the Cretaceous and to die in the Cretaceous. Because I was thinking about this book. I was thinking about having to read this book in the future and having to go through.
Okay, be natural.
The book isn't. Oh no, they're gonna get eaten by orcas. I'm sure that's how they're gonna die.
Hey, orcas are the same thing as killer whales, right? That's what I put in my notes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I know my animals.
Hey, I watched Happy Feet recently, and it was cool.
Oh, another thing I was gonna say about this book.
Yes.
They had the chance to make the Animorphs be penguins instead of polar bears, and they didn't. They were stinking seals.
Well, they weren't in Antarctica. They went north, not south. Were you paying attention?
There's no reason why they had to go north and not south.
Aren't there more people on the South Pole?
Because that's where the satellite was. Better. That's where the New York satellite was.
So they could just acquire all the researchers.
This is a true story. This is a true story. No, I think it would have been more interesting for them to have they have to be penguins in order to survive the cold, and then at the same time
penguins are weak and lame compared to a polar bear.
They would have.
Polar bears are OP.
Yeah, they would have had to stop and try and figure out how to stop it while being penguins. That would have been funny.
Yeah, and then they could have gone down a big slope and gone wee.
Yeah,
on their tummies.
One of them could have been into dancing, but the rest of them were into singing.
I like the baby.
And then they impressed Marco.
Yeah.
I have no chapters until the last chapter.
Man, the baby.
This is gonna be a short episode. It'll end soon.
It is. It's gonna be shorter than the first episode. I think it's gonna be
shorter than the one we talk about Sidey.
It was so easy to get the bug fighter and destroy the base. I barely even paid attention to that part. They basically they might as well have just said, "Hey, look over there," and then everyone went over there, and then they got the bug fighter. Wow.
That is what happened. They just.
I don't even remember what happened.
Here's chapter 26. They go in the base. No one stops them because all the guards are afraid of them. They walk into the bud fighter.
The polar bears.
Yeah, they waltz into the bud fighter. They use the bud fighter to destroy the base. The end. Marco's dad says something. He's like, "Hey, Marco," that's not what he says. He says, "Hey, you want to go out and catch something to eat?" And when I read that, I wonder if Marco was thinking about because he'd just been a polar bear and a wolf. Do you think he thought his first thought was going out and catching an animal and eating it? That's what I thought when I read that. Yeah. That's it. I just thought of that.
And then his dad said ice cream, and then he goes back in the hot shower because he doesn't like they anymore cold.
Yeah.
It was a lame ending, though. I
It was
think.
really lame.
Like it could like the fact that they were cold the whole book, and then he wants to be hot. Like I guess that's what would happen. But he gets in the hot shower for like 5 minutes.
Does something like that happen in book 11?
It's a mundane book.
Maybe, but like it was just treated as a punchline. It's like, oh yeah, then he goes back in the shower and he turns on all the way hot.
It is a
It's like
punchline. Yep.
it could have been if it was like treated more serious, maybe it'd be slightly better. But it's just a dumb ending.
I do like how Marco's dad is
Marco was
like.
angsting about it, like, oh, I never want to experience cold like that again.
I kind of like how Marco's dad
No,
is
that
like.
wouldn't have been cool, actually, now that I say it out loud.
I kind of like how Marco's dad is like, hey, can you turn the fan back on? Like, and Marco's like, oh, I forgot the fan was off.
He
Like,
turned the
doesn't-
fan off specifically because he wanted the room to heat up like a sauna.
Marco like doesn't realize that it's hot. Kinda,
He does realize that it's hot. He wants it to be hotter.
maybe. Yeah, probably. I don't know. That's all we have to say about this book, right?
We made it home and relieved the Chi who'd taken our places. I don't know if they were glad to be done playing their parts or not. Who can tell what an android thinks? Wow, author, thank you.
You couldn't have had some dialogue with Eric establishing that.
Or you couldn't have said that they were smiling in the previous books. You don't know what they think, and then I mean the previous chapters.
Yeah.
There was just all this writing in this book where the author was basically just like, wouldn't it be cool if, like, look at that. And then they just didn't go anywhere with that. Like, that was just a lot of the writing in this book.
I like that kind of idea.
I think they just, especially with the flying part, I think they're just sick of reading flying descriptions and they wanted to get that over with as fast as possible. And I think they're just really uninterested with the Chi thing, so they just wanted to wrap that up as fast as possible too.
Yeah.
Okay,
Bad
so
book. I still gave it a meh because it wasn't offensive. It was
Yeah,
just
but the offensive books are funny at
really
least and interesting.
boring. Yeah.
I have one note that I just found. I was curious. Was there any angst in this book?
No.
Not that Animorphs neither, but Marco did say, Cassie was like, oh, these seals are looking for their mother. And Marco's like, oh, the mother?
my mom died.
An unexpected wave of emotion swept over me.
Oh my god.
For 2 years I thought my mom was dead. Not the same though, was it? Watching those little seals floating in the water, waiting for the mother who to never return. But all the sadness back in the rush.
It's like every single thing this book does is just like, oh, I have to make sure I do something Kapplegate said before.
Yeah, it was like it was just like a 1 sentence thing. It's like, oh, I better make Marco sad about his mom for 1 sentence. Like,
Guys,
it was,
you would have been equally mad if the babies died and Marco didn't think about his mom at all, though.
No.
No.
I probably wouldn't
I'm
have
not. I'm mad because I don't even remember that because it was so insignificant. Like, I had to search the word mother in the book. I didn't even write that down.
Okay.
And I was like, does he mention his mom in this book? I feel like I remember him doing that. And there's another part where it's like, oh, we were really warm, and I thought about being on the couch with my mother as a child.
Oh yeah, that was cute.
It was kind of cute. It just went nowhere.
Yeah.
I guess we're talking about the cover now. It's not
Wait,
a bad cover.
did anyone have any more notes?
No. Be natural, better, no.
No.
Yeah, let's keep this a short episode. Book
Yeah.
cover.
I just don't really feel like talking about this anymore.
I like
I'm so
the book
excited to read
cover.
the next book.
What's the next book?
I don't know, better than this one.
Hold on. Okay.
It's not ghostwritten. Next book is the final unghost-written one until like the
32.
yeah.
I like the book cover. It's just Marco turns into a bear.
It's just Marco turning into a bear.
I like
Okay,
the colors.
let's-
The color is cold colors. Wow. The text is cold colors. The Kapplegate. The
Oh, actually,
extreme.
something about morphing. So when they morph the baby seals, they're babies.
Are
So I
they?
guess technically they always morph the same age as whatever it was.
Yeah.
I wonder if that has to do with like the telomerase in the cells or something.
Like
Apparently also human DNA is way more complicated than any other alien species.
Yeah, I feel like Axe isn't right about that.
That doesn't seem
Well,
right.
any of the species. Well, okay, any of the species that UX have access to, I guess. Like the more
I can see
complicated.
how they'd be
than-
more complicated than the Geds.
Yeah, and the taxons even because they were just made to get trees.
Right, and the Hork-Bajir, you mean?
I'm
Yeah.
Huckbajir, yeah, probably taxons.
What's like what's the creature with the longest genome in on Earth? Is
Yeah,
it-
it's
Something
like-
really stupid.
It's not like
Yeah.
yeah, it's not like human. Like humans don't have the most complicated DNA
That's
just
true,
because of
that's
the
true.
part of the species. Like that was, I think Axe is just wrong. I think Axe is wrong about his hypothesis. This is about he thinks that the Vember are
The
part
Australian
human because of that.
lungfish has the largest genome of any
Because if you
animal.
think about it, it would make way more sense to cross them with the Hork-Bajir because they're more dangerous bodies.
Yeah.
They need an excuse to make them part human.
Do you think you people tell us the ghostwritten?
No.
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 Because that Kapplegate's written some garbage books in the past already.
Yeah. Okay.
Joke.
We sign off first.
Oh, be natural.
I'm better.
I'm Mustard.
I'm Stir. Knock knock.
Who's there?
Olive.
Olive who?
Smoliv, the new Pokemon.
Olive the other reindeer.
Olive.
I'll live in Alaska.
I live for
We all
thrills.
live in the Yellow Submarine.
None of you are close. Not even close?
No.
Is it a pun on I live?
No.
I live next door.
No.
Let me introduce myself.
It's
I'm
not-
your new neighbor.
It's not a pun on I live. If you get the pun correct, I'll tell you the joke. Because you would never guess the second half of this.
Okay.
I mean, I guess that's why these are not high jokes, not middles. You guys don't
Oh, that
guess
looks creepy.
What are you guys looking at?
Is it different post? It's a different pun?
It has nothing to do with the word live, yeah.
Olive.
No.
Is it that? No. Rare.
I
number.
want olive on my pizza. I mean, I guess that's closer. I want olive on my pizza is closer.
Olivia
I want
Holt.
all of the olives
No.
you can give me.
No. Give me olive
No,
the
it's
money
fine.
you have. I'm robbing
I'm
you.
just saying I want
Give me
It's
all
closer
of
in
them.
meaning to I live.
I'll have a dog with extra spicy potato chips.
No. How are those the words that you thought of to finish that sentence with?
I have no idea. I like dogs.
Can't read the joke now. With
Yeah.
extra spicy potato chips. Okay, here we go. Olive it when the bell rings.
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh.
When
Okay.
the bell rings, I guess because school has
Yes.
stool, which is in Stuttgart's out. I haven't been in school that
I
had
was
a
thinking
bell.
doorbell.
Oh. Maybe they just
Oh,
have-
yeah.
oh, that is funny. Maybe they just have a bell. No, maybe they ring the doorbell. Like, oh, sorry, I'm just here to elect
Does that say ring ring there? No, it says knock knock, stupid.
Like, yeah. Or
Okay.
maybe this guy's knocking on the door and saying, yeah, I noticed you don't have a doorbell on this door. I really love the sound of doorbells.
This guy was a doorbell salesman.
And I had a knock on
Yeah,
there.
yeah. No, it's a girl because her first name is Olive.
Okay, time to
Okay.
play Mario RPG and listen to Iron Maiden.
Yes.
That was an episode. There's just nothing else to say. Like, this is still on, like, it's like, you know, it's a high mare.
Why is it a high mare?
So I liked it.
Why do you like it?
It's just like, it takes no risk, just has nothing really interesting.
Yeah,
It's
I
slow.
noticed. Hello, we just read Animorphs graphic novel too. It's good.
It was alright.
Visitor.
Yeah, this is.
The original book was better, as I remember.
Well, here's the thing.
as far as I remember.
I
I
barely.
don't really think they changed like anything.
Yeah, I forgot so much of the book. I'm really glad we're returning to it. By the way,
This book is way more boring than I remember. Like nothing happened in this.
what?
What? So many things happened.
All the they're your sympathy things.
Whatever.
It
That
was
didn't
not,
come back until book 19.
It was not
the best
cluttered.
book.
It was very well
No,
paced. Not
it was-
cluttered at all. Not
I think there was a little bit
Well
more sympathy
paced, not huge, not
sprinkled
small.
around.
We've had like the first third
Maybe
of
it's
it.
just because I already read it, so I already like knew what was gonna happen, and I wasn't surprised by anything. But like, I just couldn't make myself remember this, which leads into how I didn't really like it the first time I read it either. So it
Man,
didn't really improve my opinion of it.
well, I'm so glad to have read because I've forgotten so much about this book, but it's really book 2 is really good. That's why I came out of
They
this.
should have just ended this book, the series here instead.
Yeah.
Your good ending. Wait, I had notes that I wrote down.
Animorphs and its sequel.
But yeah, this was
I will say, I think I actually want to start reading these on our own instead of reading them as a group.
Oh,
Because
okay.
I feel like that diminishes the quality of reading it.
It
Like, I feel
takes
like,
a very long time.
yeah, and we have to talk a lot, and
Yeah.
it makes us focus less on the actual words that are being said and more on like getting people to say they're actually lines. And also, there's 4 of us, so it's hard to crowd around one book.
I kept not being able to see like
Especially
the
today,
text.
yeah, it was hard for us to actually see the text.
Okay. Well, we can do that.
I mean, I don't think we're gonna record.
I just don't think it's that point.
We're not gonna record an episode for every one. I'm probably not gonna. I'm probably just gonna stick this at the
Are
end
you
of the
sure?
episode.
Because they come out pretty sparsely.
Yeah, they come out like once a year.
Yeah, but I mean, I think the first episode had basically everything we need to say about them.
So by the time the next one's out, we'll have like
It'll be like,
3 more
yes,
Animorphs
this
books
is
read.
the third Animorphs graphic novel.
Like
It
3 more
exists.
episodes out.
But yeah, good,
Good.
cool adaptations by them.
They're all Chris Grimes.
That's true, because we don't really have any. We don't have to say anything about the art style or any of that.
Yeah.
Do we?
Like last time, like the humans look kind of weird. The aliens all look great, way better than the official art.
Personally, I like the way the humans look.
No, Beatrice had a complaint about the Hork-Bajir in this book, actually.
That wasn't a complaint, was it?
Not really. I wouldn't say the aliens look great, but they definitely look better than the official art. At least the Andalites do.
It's a nice style.
I like the
don't know if I agree
Hork-Bajir
with
official
that.
art.
Yeah, they're just not bladey enough.
She said their head sparks look like a mohawk.
I like the style of the humans, but they needed to look different. Like
I don't like the
Chapman
style of
looks
the
too
humans.
young, Jake looks too old. Like they look too. All the people look too similar to each other.
Yes, definitely. Melissa and Rachel. That was their big complaint in this book, was that those two looked exactly alike.
They look exactly the same, except Melissa's hair is lighter.
Yeah.
I guess the only way you can tell the difference.
You know, Marker has short hair, so he looks a lot like Cassie.
Yeah. I was reading this. I was reminded of a bunch of stuff I forgot about, like that the host can like fight back, or the host controllers can like fight back and like take control, like slap themselves.
Only
a
from the
little
power
bit.
of the love of a parent.
Yeah, that hasn't happened since this book that I remember.
Nope.
And then Visit 3 is like, what, you think my host doesn't fight back sometimes? And I was reminded, I totally forgot that the Andalites are going to return to Earth to fight the Yeerks in the future.
Yeah.
That's like apparently the whole series.
Yeah, they're trying to just fend off the invasion until the end lights come.
I didn't know that.
When do you guys think the Andalites are gonna come?
2 years.
Book 54.
Book
No, actually, like 2
28.
books from the end.
What are the last 2 books gonna be about?
The Andalites come back, and then they all morph, and all the aliens, through plot convenience, all come back, and they have a big fat war, and probably
Sounds
somebody
cool.
dies.
Man,
what if
the
the-
Animorphs dies.
What if
and, but then the Andalites and the Animorphs win. The end. Yay, happy, go home.
What if the
entire second half of the series is just like, okay, the end lights are on Earth now, helping with the battle.
That'd be lit.
Yeah, it'd be cool
I
if there was a
think-
big change in the series.
I would like it.
I
I
don't
like
find
it.
that
I like
phenomenal.
it when sci-fi series are finally have the balls to not have it be just take place in a world that could be your own. Ooh.
I guess it'd be a lot of work for the ghostwriters to write something that hasn't been written, though.
Well, they don't. I mean,
Although
like,
apparently the ghostwritten books are outlined by her. I didn't know that.
She's still outlined. You didn't know that? Yeah, she still
No.
outlines it.
You guys are done talking about the comic book, right?
Yeah.
My one last note, because we should bring this up because it's funny. So when Rachel gives Melissa a note at the end that says, "Hey, by the way, your parents love you," there's an Animorphs logo at the bottom. It's just the letter A with the Animorphs logo, and I thought that was funny.
Oh, also,
It's funny that Rachel has come up with a logo for the Animorphs.
And
She
it's
just kind of
it's one
slapped
of
it
the
on there
bookies
without
is-
really talking to the other Animorphs about it.
yeah, she do a little logo where it's like, okay, maybe it's just A for anonymous.
Yeah, it could be that. I don't think it would.
Oh, another thing that was in this book, Jake is morphing shirtless every time he morphs.
He's wearing nothing but his boxes and a choker because every character's wearing a choker in this series.
Stop it. I like the art style. Complains about the art style.
I
constantly.
made 0 complaints about the art style in the past couple
It's just a
sentences.
freaking shadow.
Yeah, and look, it's funny. It's funny
really
that it looks like a
not.
choker every time.
Don't let Stir have his little happiness,
Let
okay?
me post my rats in reaction to things.
Yeah, we can say
Yeah.
things look like other things without it being a complaint.
Oh, in the book too, did Rachel like morph a hand to break herself out of the cage? I
Yeah.
don't remember that
I'm
happening.
pretty sure that happened in the book.
Probably. Mustard could
It's
look it
funny.
up.
I don't have a book. Don't
They-
It's just this whole book was like Rachel morphs to Shrew. Rachel turns into a cat and goes to Chapman. Chapman talks to Visser 3. Rachel morphs into a cat again.
Well, see,
and
those are the
talks to
boring
Chapman.
aspects of it, though. The cool parts is the relationships
That's why I
between
hated
the
like
characters.
the first 2/3 of it, and then like Chapman talking to Visser 3 was interesting too. But like, I mean, I can't be surprised about this and be my mind blown by it when I already knew about it. So
Well, I've forgotten a lot
The part
about
where
him. That's why I like
the part
this
where
so
the
much.
real Chapman talks with Visitor 3
Yeah.
is
Oh, yeah.
epic.
That hasn't happened again since either. Well, like
Yeah,
they're like, oh, hey,
that,
I'll get.
actually.
My host wants to have control to talk to you directly, Visitor, and then that just happens.
Didn't they do
And
that in
Visitor's
book
like,
19?
okay.
Do they do that in book 19? I
To
mean,
Visser 3?
no, with
Cassie
No.
Cassie said she wanted to talk to the real Karen.
Yeah, that happens.
Forgot about that book. Even though
But
she-
that's
can't
another thing that just
believe
hasn't
you.
happened since 19. Like so much like Yuck, so much stuff that like I think shaped at least my opinion of the Yucks comes from this book and was barely mentioned again until book 19.
and
At
it
least
was
in a way that I noticed.
Yeah, wait. Oh, wait. We're sympathetic to the Yerks in this book because the Yerks are scared of Visser 3, I guess.
Yeah. And
Whatever.
Well, they're just talking
they have
about
an
like
agreement with the host, and they like feel bad that they like feel bad that Visor is like breaking the agreement with the host. He's like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and they're like, "Do you know how awful it is to have an like they're just trying to do their jobs, honestly. Like they're like, "Do you know how awful it is to have a disobedient host?"
Yeah. Oh.
Well, yeah, it's not like if,
Andalite, you would never understand Andalite.
and it's not like if they died, Chapman would get back because they'll just stick another Yuck in him.
Yeah. It was kind of cool, like, reading again. Like, the series is so young at this point. You know, there's no acts.
Yeah, you forget about all the stuff
There's
that was
no
added later.
Tobias is human.
How far they've come.
That's about it, really. That's all the
There's
changes.
no, freaking what are they called?
Oh, Helmicrons?
Yeah, there's no Helmicrons.
There's no Helmicrons.
Helmicrons are in every book after 2.
I thought it was funny how Rachel's little sister has a pink shirt with a heart on it that says beans.
Beans.
That does not seem like something that would have existed in the 90s.
I don't know. It seems like something I might have had as a kid, and in the
Beans.
2000.
Beans. Be natural.
Mm.
Beans.
Why are you saying it like that?
Well,
Because who wears a
beans.
shirt with beans on it in 1996?
Rachel's sister?
No. You're wrong. People just didn't love beans back then.
Yeah, people
Do
people
people
love
love
meat.
beans now?
Yes, they love
Yeah,
beans.
it's like a weird cult thing, like frogs.
Me and the boy, it's at 4 a.m. looking for beans.
Also, we thought Jordan was kind of weirdly written. I guess I thought
She
this in
said,
the original.
Rachel,
too.
I know I'm your sister by 2 years younger than you,
Oh, yeah,
but
let's bring that up. How they keep the
they kept establishing how old the characters were compared to each other for some reason.
'Cause they all look
Like,
the same
Jake was
age.
like, Rachel, I know that I'm a few weeks older than you, but, like, what was the point of that? K.A. Applegate / Chris Grine, whoever wrote that? It's unclear.
Oh, you mean Michael Grant?
Or Michael Grant, whoever wrote that.
Yeah, I assume
You know
we talked
Michael-
about this before,
you know who
but
Michael
they're
Grant
including
is.
Michael Grant in the actual based on the novel by Naze instead of just putting K.A. Applegate.
You know who Michael Grant is, right?
Yeah.
He wrote the Animorphs books as well as K.A. Applegate.
How did they divide that up? Did they ever say?
I think they probably did. It's all this stuff that I could look up that I just don't, because I'm lazy.
Please look it up. I want to know like if one of them wrote like all the really bad books and one of them wrote the good books.
Or like if they are more collaborative, and if it's hard to tell who wrote what thing.
Well, K. Applegate is an abbreviation for Catherine and Michael Grant Applegate.
Yeah, we definitely talked about that and how stupid that is.
Wait, it's not Catherine, like...
What? No, that's not actually true. That's a joke.
The way you said it sounded really serious. I don't know. Rachel definitely looks like a furry a lot in this book.
I
I guess
didn't
that's to
see
be
that.
expected.
Like the cat book.
Like, look, she's cute right here. Look.
Yeah.
Meow. She says Yarko like twice because lol cat. This book is stupid.
Dude, Michael Grant put on Twitter, according to Wikipedia, Catherine and I have 3 kids. This is very concerning as we were pretty sure we only had the 2. But we're getting old. Memory's not as reliable as it once was. So if you come across a 3rd kid, do let them know that they should contact us. That on Twitter 2 years ago.
It's really funny.
That's the first citation on Wikipedia.
Nice.
The division of work on Animorphs ran anything from 50-50 to 90-10. It was 14 books a year. Holy crap. 14 books a year?
That's more than one a month.
And Catherine had our first kid in the middle of it.
Oh,
But if you've
jeez.
ever seen the classic I Love Lucy bit at the chocolate factory, you've seen Catherine and me working together. Our biggest regret is that we let our idiot agent negotiate the deal, which is why we know f*** all about any possible TV movie deal. That's all a sore subject, I'm afraid. So that's what I found. It's 50-50 to 90-10. They had a child in the middle of it.
Anything
14
else?
books a year. It looks like when Lucy and her friend are at the chocolate factory in I Love Lucy. Apparently.
Yeah, the classic scene.
What did
where
you think of?
where the chocolates start going by too fast and she starts eating them?
Yes.
Oh,
You didn't know about that?
no.
I've seen that a
That's
million
been parodied
times.
in so
I've seen the
many
Drake and Josh
cartoons.
Yeah, the
one.
Drake and Josh
Oh,
sushi
man,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you were actually referencing Drake and Josh when you said that.
Oh my gosh.
What did you think
Oh
of
yeah,
the...
I Love Lucy. movie
When
I
have you
love
seen
seeing.
that scene?
Before? I
When?
don't know.
Why?
Why? Because it was on TV.
But it's a TV show from 1951. Why would I know anything about this?
Because you stinky little cable children don't watch actual TV, which is reruns channels that
Yeah.
are on the freaking antenna.
I'm gonna know one specific joke from one episode of the Dick
It's
Van
not a
Dyke
specific
Show.
joke. It's like a cultural thing. Like
it in, like, every
people
episode?
know it, even who haven't watched the show at all.
Well, yeah, because I've seen it referenced, but I haven't seen the original.
Okay, then what are you complaining about?
Then I'm supposed to know this from I Love Lucy.
Okay, jeez.
In part, we ended Animorphs because we felt we'd beaten the story to death, and we were exhausted. As you may know...
Don't make sure you read that ahead of time, right?
Yes.
Okay.
As you may know, books 25 to 52 were ghostwritten, but we weren't happy with that process. We aren't editors. We don't see any likelihood of... Okay. What did you think of the TV series based off the Animorphs series? While I've never seen it, I heard it wasn't the best. Oh, we hated the TV series. Hated it. We felt it insulted the hundreds of thousands of kids who read the books. We told Scholastic we thought it was a bad idea to go live action, given that animals, child actors, and FX are the three most expensive things you can have in Hollywood, short of hiring Tom Cruise. We were loving the very noir Batman animated series at the time and thought we should do something like that. Instead, they ignored us with all the inevitable chaos, the fall of governments, plague, famine, bodies in the streets. Yeah, it was a bad show. I guess that's spoilers for the show? I don't even know what they're talking about there.
That's not spoilers.
I think we're talking about real life.
Oh, okay.
I think, yeah, they're just exaggerating.
If you were an Animorph, what would you like to turn into? Red-tailed hawk, of course.
Also, she does love red-tailed hawks.
Well, this is Michael Grant, but yeah.
He does love red-tailed hawks.
I'm sure they had to have to want to have Tobias turn into a red-tailed hawk.
Do they ever explain why they're just labeled as K. Applegate?
Because they don't want to look like a girl wrote this.
But that is
But why don't they
that
just
is,
go
that
by
is the
Michael
girl
Grant,
name though. In the back it says, "Hello, I'm Catherine Applegate. I
Well,
wrote
yeah,
these
but you don't
books."
put the female. You don't put a female first name on the.
No,
front
but
of
I'm
the book.
saying why didn't they just say Michael Grant?
By Michael Grant.
I don't know.
I'm asking if they ever said that.
I don't know.
Okay. We
Because
don't know.
Applegate is such a delightful sounding name.
It
It
is.
totally sounds like a children's book author name.
Grant
Michael-
sounds
Not,
Mike,
no real person.
Michael
has
Grant's a
Applegate
dumb
as
name.
last
No, Grant sounds nice. It's like granting you money.
No, it's like
Yeah, that
granting
doesn't sound
you-
like a children's book author. That sounds like a banker.
like a children's. Yeah, it's like delightfully like it makes me think of like the British countryside or something, like Dick and Jane.
John-
Applegate.
Jonathan Van.